We've all been told that, right? That horrible cramps, clotting, and just feeling awful during your period is, well, just part of being a woman, something you just have to power through with some painkillers. But what if that's completely wrong? Today, we're diving into a perspective that says accepting all that pain isn't just wrong, it's a huge problem we can and absolutely should fix. And this quote from our source expert, licensed acupuncturist Anthony Guadamus, just hits the nail on the head. He makes this powerful argument that by normalizing all the suffering, we've actually walked ourselves right into a fertility crisis that was totally preventable. That really sets the stage for a completely different way of thinking about our bodies, doesn't it? All right, so first things first, we have to tear down this idea of the normal but super painful period. We're gonna challenge the very idea that we're all just supposed to put up with this, month after month. Now look at this comparison because it's so telling. On one side, you've got the conventional approach. It's often about symptom management, right? Like playing whack-a-mole with pain and irregularities. But on the other side, you have traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM. And for TCM, those very same symptoms aren't a problem to be silenced. They're clues. They're valuable information that can lead you straight to the root cause. And that leads us to this really cool concept. Your period is actually speaking a language. So let's get into how TCM practitioners learn to read those signs that your body is sending you loud and clear every single month. The source material calls it a diagnostic window, which is such a great way to put it. Think of your period as a monthly report card. It's not just some isolated event. It's giving you a detailed update on the balance of your body's most fundamental substances, like your blood, your qi, which is your vital energy, and the harmony between yin and yang, kind of like the cool and warm functions of your system. And here's where you see just how specific this language gets. You see, a TCM practitioner doesn't just hear, "I have cramps." They're digging into the details. If you have dark, clotted blood, that might point to something they call blood stasis. Basically, things aren't flowing smoothly. But a really light, pale flow, that could signal blood deficiency. And each of those patterns requires a totally different treatment plan. It's not one size fits all. And get this isn't just some fringe idea anymore. The source points out that even the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists has started calling the menstrual cycle a vital sign, just like your blood pressure or your heart rate. So even Western medicine is starting to catch on that we should be evaluating it, not just switching it off. So if painful, chaotic periods aren't the goal, then what is? Well, this next part is awesome because it lays out a super clear blueprint for what a healthy cycle is actually supposed to look like. It gives us a real target to aim for. Okay, take a look at this checklist. This is the goal. A regular cycle somewhere between 26 and 32 days. 4 to 5 days of a nice, fresh red flow with hardly any clots. And here's the kicker. No pain that makes you reach for a bottle of pills. No major mood swings. The source is crystal clear on this. If your cycle doesn't look like this, it's not just your normal. It's your body giving you critical information that something is out of balance. Okay, so if TCM is so good at reading the signs and even defining the goal, that brings us to the biggest argument in this whole explainer. Why is it so often treated as the last resort? The evidence we're about to see suggests it should probably be the first thing you try. And here's that quote from Anthony Guadamus again, and you can almost hear the frustration. So many people show up for acupuncture after they've tried everything else for years. But just imagine, what if we flipped that? What if this was the starting point before things get more complicated? That's a bold claim though, right? To say it should be the first intervention. So let's put it to the test. What does the actual hard scientific evidence have to say about all this? Let's start with a big one. This is from a major meta-analysis. That means they looked at a bunch of high-quality studies published in the British Medical Journal, and the results were pretty stunning. When you add acupuncture to an IVF cycle, the chances of getting pregnant go up a lot. It's not just a small bump, it's a significant improvement. And if that wasn't enough, check this out. This was a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, a huge deal in medicine. They looked at women with PCOS and compared acupuncture to a common fertility drug. The result? Acupuncture worked just as well at inducing ovulation, but here's the amazing part. It came with way fewer side effects and a lower risk of multiple pregnancies. Basically, same results, fewer risks. So with that pretty compelling evidence on the table, let's talk about our final section. We need to go beyond the supplement aisle because that's where so many of us get stuck, and talk about why getting personal with your medicine is so important. I mean, just look at that number.
over $200 billion. The wellness and supplement industry is absolutely massive, and so many of those bottles on the shelf are promising to balance your hormones or boost your fertility. But our source argues there's a really deep flaw in this whole approach. And this slide breaks that flaw down perfectly. Here's what happens. Science studies a brilliant, complex, traditional herbal formula that has a dozen ingredients all working together. Then this reductionist thinking kicks in. They try to find the one active ingredient, pull it out, and then market that single compound as a magic bullet for everyone. As our source expert says, this is a corruption of herbal medicine. Why? Because it completely ignores the two most crucial parts. First, getting a proper diagnosis for your specific body, and second, designing a treatment just for you. You know, taking a popular supplement might be great for one person's hormonal pattern, but for someone with a different pattern, it could actually make things worse. So after all of this, what's the big takeaway? It's actually incredibly simple. Your body is unique, the signals it's sending you are unique, so your treatment plan has to be unique too. It's really that straightforward. And that really brings us to the final question, the one that matters most. Your period is talking. It's giving you a detailed report every single month. So the only real question left is, are you ready to finally listen to what it's trying to tell you?
I stopped trying to find a doctor who would listen, and I did this instead. For years, I was doing everything right. Eating clean, exercising, getting 8 hours of sleep, but I was still exhausted. I had constant brain fog, and my hormones felt completely out of whack. Every doctor told me my labs were normal, and it was probably just stress. I was about to give up until I found Holistic Health. It's a free AI wellness tool trained by functional medicine experts. I spent 5 minutes answering questions about everything: my symptoms, my sleep, my digestion, and it built me this. And this was the light bulb moment. It didn't just give me a list of problems, it connected the dots. It showed me how my gut health was likely impacting my hormones and how that was causing the fatigue and the brain fog. It even gave me a clear list of potential root causes, supplements to research, and even the specific lab tests to ask for. Its tip is secure, over 77,000 people have used it, and it's 100% free to get your blueprint. If you feel like you're not being heard, start here. Understand your body first and then decide your next step.